My name is Susan Whyte, and I'd like to start off with a statistic from the report. 61% of people surveyed said that they would turn to ReachOut.com or to a friend for support. I am one of these people. This is one of the many reasons that I got involved, because ReachOut.com is an invaluable resource to help young people like me get through tough times. My journey with ReachOut started over 18 months ago when I was in college. I've been an active member of the Youth Advisory Network ever since, creating awareness about ReachOut.com at events like Oxygen and also contributing to the website. I'm now a youth ambassador for ReachOut, along with lots of other lovely people in the audience today. We know that mental health is an important issue for all young people, including ourselves. I started with a statistic, so I'd like to end on a statistic. 3 of the 4 people today speaking are from Cork. I'd like to invite the only non-Cork person, our CEO, Elaine Geraghty.
It is a very special morning for all of us at ReachOut.com, and it's a particular milestone in the growth of the organisation. It's an opportunity, of course, for us to share the findings of our research, which is in the report that you have today, but also hopefully, as Susan has already started with, some of the experiences that we've had since we launched just a short, or it seems like only yesterday, but 17 months ago publicly with the service. We've been around a little while, but ReachOut.com is based in a much older, deeper story when a very visionary and inspirational man called Jack Heath, 13 years ago in Australia, was so touched by the death of his young cousin, who at that time lived in rural Australia, that he felt the need to do something about it. And a light bulb went off in his head, with a little bit of help from a friend who happened to work in Microsoft. He said, why aren't we using the internet to reach out and to connect with young people? Specifically at the time, because it was actually physically rural and an isolated area, but below that, he realised that this was a way, this was a method, this was a channel to reach young people no matter where they were, and to get that conversation going around mental health, well-being, and what we call getting through tough times. Because everybody goes through them, and anybody who isn't a teenager or isn't in their early 20s knows that you've done that as well during your life. So the idea behind the genesis of the idea of ReachOut.com is to connect directly with young people using the media that they prefer. So it launched very successful and had an impact in reducing the youth suicide rates in Australia. Conversations started to happen here about 5 or 6 years ago, and studies were done. The idea was, would there be a fit for a ReachOut.com in Ireland? It made absolute sense at the time because the youth suicide rates were similar to those in Australia. McKinsey carried out a report generously funded by one foundation and said, yes, there's a gap in the market. We have a high internet usage, lots of young people are online, it's their preferred media of choice, and equally, surveying young people at the time, they said they were sort of less inclined to go to traditional services, but more inclined to talk and connect online, so absolutely it made sense, and so we launched publicly in January of last year. So how are we doing? Well, it's been frantic, but it's been fantastic. Numbers are easy to spew out. We know that there are 3,000 visits to our site every week. We know in the short time that we've launched, over 140,000 visits have come through our service as we have built our service and improved upon it. So absolutely there is a need. And when Derek takes you through the research, you'll understand the issues that are there for the people using the service and their levels of psychological distress. So why today is important is because all that hard work that you do, but until you get your first piece of research into your hand to just confirm that you know you're doing a good job, we can do better, but we definitely need to be here. And I have to say, to be part, and just a part, of the overall solution within the mental health sector. It's offline, it's online, we have experience now, and we play our role. But part of a role among a group of people, a lot of those people in this room at the moment that care about young people and want to do something about it. And actually it is a collective, it is a collaborative effort, of which we're happy to say we believe we know quite a lot, and really want to share it with anybody that's interested about young people. Just from my own background, I came from a very different background in one way until March of last year. Spent over 20 years, I'm absolutely ancient, working in media, mostly broadcast. I was CEO at News Talk for 4 years before I decided to take my gap year. And then was approached about this position. And you know, I love radio. I think it's immediate. I think it requires creativity. I think it connects. But that's what we do as well. We connect online, and it's understanding where young people are, what they're doing, and getting a conversation going. Great thing about radio is if you've heard something good, you'll go and tell somebody else about it and you'll have that chat. The fantastic thing about the internet is that it's safe, it's anonymous, you can spend time there. And if you see stories, read blogs, look at videos, get fabulously clinically researched information into your young hands that help you understand what mental health and well-being is all about, then you are comfortable talking about it. And that's the core of what we do. It's about demystifying mental health, getting a conversation going, which could be online, could be offline, but it's okay to do it. And my personal experience of working with young people over the last year and a half and looking at what we do online is that they are very comfortable. They are very open to listening, to learning, and to opening their minds about what may be going on. When they come to ReachOut.com, it may only ever be one visit. They'll get that information, off they go. They may take that information for a friend, or they may need further help. And we're able to signpost them to that help should they need it. So it plays a valuable role. It's about education, but it's about conversation starters as well. But this time in an online environment. The other thing we do is we measure everything we do and we evaluate. We can tell you at any point in time what the top 3 issues are for young people visiting the site. Recently, since we revamped the website, we've got a lot of comments right across the site. And there's people that are now recognising issues for them and want to find out more. So for me, that's the first sign of success, that we've connected, that they're reading and they're recognising and now asking those questions. So it's the beginning of a journey. It's a long journey. I want to thank One Foundation and the Atlantic Philanthropies for putting their faith and putting us in this privileged position to be part of this mental health sector, as we call it. We've many recommendations in the report, and you'll find all of them there, Minister. I might just talk about one, and that we firmly believe that all online mental health resources need to be professional, they need to be researched, they must be safe. One of the first things that we did was introduce clinical guidelines for our staff and any of our team and our volunteers working with us. We'd like to think that we could lead the way there and advise on that, but it's incredibly important, especially when you're communicating and dealing with young people. I've probably gone way over the time, so I'm going to hand over to Derek, who's going to take us through the main points of the research. But just to say, it's a mix of focus groups, case studies, and our first online user profiling survey, where we connected with people who use ReachOut.com to find out their behaviours, their attitudes to mental health and help-seeking behaviour. The online survey took place over December and January, focus groups from October all the way through to March. So I hope you enjoy what Derek is about to present to you, and thank you very much indeed.